Welcome, everybody, to the Pop Culture Corner. Tonight, we are back talking about one topic in particular because we are going to be doing a GWW Twitter space tonight right after the show. So make sure after this you head right over to Twitter and join me there where we'll continue the conversation. But before we get into anything, I'd like to say thank you to everyone. Of course, make sure to like, share, subscribe. And if you want to support the channel further, become a member and or send a super chat. We're back to a consistent schedule, Wednesdays and Sundays for sure. And then throughout the week, we'll sprinkle in a little extra. I'm here tonight with my good friend RJ, who I haven't seen in quite some time.
I know, it's been a while. How you doing, Ty? Hope you're doing well.
Doing very well. And the reason I asked you here is because we have similar mindsets on the Snyderverse community, the whole thing, right?
Well, it's funny too because we both kind of have received a little bit of backlash, I guess you could take it, for very weird reasons as to what we think about this.
Yeah, because we kind of we toe the line a little bit of and I think part of what people forget is being unbiased means calling out both sides. And they I know Jarbo says that he likes it, but he calls out both sides. But I do think that Jarbo tends to not like the community a little bit more than he likes it. Whereas you and I stand, we definitely want. I speak for myself, I suppose, but I want more Snyder's DC, but at what cost?
Well, and that's kind of like the thing I've been saying too for like the last year. I've been open and transparent about where I came into this whole thing. And of course, I wasn't deep in the trenches the last 4 or 5 years in terms of campaigning for this thing, but I do support the fandom and I do support people within it. I don't think everyone's bad, but I've come to the realization, Ty, and it's kind of like I've been saying the last couple of days. The restore movement is not the same as the release movement. That is what I've noticed as well. They're two very different fandoms at this point. And what I've noticed too after today, this whole controversy, is that it is my belief personally that a lot of people within this restore movement are willing to sacrifice integrity and morality to get the easy win.
Yeah.
To get basically what they want, and that is validation and acknowledgement from this corporation and from fandom and the media at large. They simply want to be acknowledged and validated for liking what they like.
Correct. And it just seems that and I wrote just a breaking news article, I suppose, just kind of summarizing, because the Wrap debuted an article which you do have to, I think, be subscribed to read.
There was a way to circumnavigate that. If you went to Yahoo Entertainment, they had the whole article for free. I don't know why that was the case, but it was.
Okay. So. Well, yeah, I summarized basically, the big parts of it. But basically, the guy from the Wrap, Humberto Gonzalez, who admittedly has been a defactor.
I think he has a bias. I do think he has a bias. I mean,
sure.
he's been very vocal against the fandom since its inception, really, the last 4 or 5 years. Even when you read the article, which I was able to read to, like it's on Yahoo, thankfully, because it wasn't behind the paywall. There's some digs thrown in there at the fans and at Zack himself. I felt like that. I'm just like, if anybody else would have written this article with this information, I think it would be taken a little more seriously. But because it's coming from a certain writer who, in my opinion, just reading it, I felt he had an axe to grind a little bit, which was a shame. But I do think that even though the writing is a bit negative skewing, I do think there's valuable information in there still.
Right. So, basically what they're saying is from the Oscar polls, the fan polls, the ones that Army of the Dead and Justice League took away. At one point, so the company I believe it was Telescope, maybe,
There was Telescope, and there was
and then there was another
there's
one.
two reports from a organization called
Twitter
Tweetbinder.
Tweet Binder. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Thank you. Actually, you know what? Um, 1 second.
Yeah, and they threw in another thing from a Israeli company called Soribra or something.
Right.
So
So yeah, that was the other one. And so basically, what happened is on February 27th, the voting went from an average of between 4 and 15,000 votes per day to a consistent and steady 25,000, which
yeah, like it
doesn't
was a
seem
huge.
like a lot.
Yeah, but if the average is typically about 4 to 7,000, a jump to 25,000 a day is kind of suspect. Here's my thing too, and this is what I said to the people. Got to realize, I don't think it was just the Snyder fans who maybe some of them used bots. I think everyone was using bots, to be honest. I think the Cinderella movie, I think those fans probably used bots to get up there as well, because it was like neck and neck, the Cinderella fans of Camilla Cabello
How do
with the
you make a
Snyder.
bot?
That is an interesting question. I mean, bots on Twitter has been a consistent issue for a while. It's one of the things that Elon Musk, as soon as he took over the platform, one of the first things he said was he wants to verify every person on the website as a human and get rid of the bot accounts.
Easier said than done, of course.
Easier said than done, of
Yeah.
course, but that's his main goal. He wants to get rid of bots on Twitter because
Right.
there is a bot problem on the website.
Right. And we've all come across it. We've all faced some sort of bot mentality. And it's honestly, it's pretty hard to differentiate, like, are you talking to a real person? Like, for instance, when I put this out and then I said something else, I think I tweeted something more like, if you're unwilling to accept criticism, and if you're unwilling to take that criticism on the narrative that you've spun out, you're probably Republican or a Snyder stan. And there was two people that really got upset, and basically, I don't know, said I was in a group and that asked me to stop being a moron. And
Yeah,
that's how it gets. That's my point.
Well,
That's how it gets.
it gets quickly personal, because the thing
Very.
is, and this is what I've been saying, we've been saying a lot too. I think you said this as well, Ty. It's that people have sort of made this fandom and these movies part of their identity. So a slight
Right.
against the fandom and the films and Zack becomes a slight against them and everything they stand for. It's very much like a religion in a sense too, which I know people hate that comparison, but I do think it's valid, because it is kind of, there are zealots out there, I think. And the thing is too, which is weird for both of us, is that a lot of people play the guilt by association card because of who we choose to talk to. And both you and I both know that we choose to talk to whomever we seek to want to talk to, because we only seek conversation. So it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I've had Sil on multiple times. Do I agree with him? Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Yeah. You've had Jarbo on, which I know people don't like Jarbo.
Jarbo and I argue all the time. But you know what it is? It's healthy. And its argument is, I use that word loosely, we don't always see eye to eye. But we talk it like, I like Wayne T. Carr's Green Lantern. I like the idea. And Jarbo uses always comes at me with the thing about, how we don't really know how about Wayne's acting skills. We don't know him as Green Lantern yet because we haven't seen the character. But you could also say that for about a lot of fan casting. So, that those are the arguments that we have, and that's okay. That's healthy. But
but the difference is that we can have a conversation, though.
Yeah,
we can both, like, we walk away from it saying, "Okay, I don't hate you." It's just we had a conversation about it, and it's fine. It's all about getting different perspectives on things.
Yeah, perspective is so big in this sphere, especially at the end of the day. And I've said this so many times. At the end of the day, we're really talking about fucking fairy tale creatures that don't exist. They're movies. Like, when you talk about how people have made it their identity, you are so right, and it's so wrong. It's so bad for you. Like, when you take that kind of stuff so personally, when Zack Snyder's films become who you are, you probably have a problem, and that's okay, right? Work on it. Work on how to fix it. But it seems like these bot things, this whole thing boils down to this fandom and those people wanting to be taken more seriously amongst the movie community. When you hear directors, critically acclaimed directors talk down on the superhero genre in general, right? But then even the superhero crowd, the comic book movie community, kind of looks down on the Snyder fandom. So they're like the lowest on the totem pole as far as I'm concerned.
Kinda, yeah, but this is what I've noticed too, and again, I understand because there's all these emotions. When Batman versus Superman released over now it's been
2016.
7 years ago now. Which I
Yeah.
can't believe it's been that long. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy.
But 7 years ago, and the movie released 7 years ago, Snyder fans who loved that movie felt that they were the underdogs, right? The media didn't like the movie, fandom at large didn't like the movie, they didn't like what Zack's vision was. And they've been in this state of we're the underdogs, we've always had to keep fighting for what we want. Nobody respects us. We have to keep they're very defensive, right?
Very.
They're very defensive, and I get that. But it's not 2016 anymore, and a lot of people are stuck in what I would consider to be a victim mentality, where they still think that they're the underdogs, that they're the ones who are still fighting to get what they want, even though they kind of did.
Right.
It's just that the goal shifted because
what was the ask? No. Well, the goal didn't shift. What was the ask originally?
As far as I was aware, the ask was to get the Snydercut released, and they just wanted it out there.
You're right. The initial ask was to release the Snydercut, right? However, that didn't mean a continuation. It just meant let him at least get the movie that was put together and basically taken from him. That was always the goal, and it happened. Yeah. And then, much like anybody, they became greedy, or we became greedy. Because I'll classify myself as that as well.
Well, it's only natural. I mean, you watch that movie and the way it ends, you begs for more. Yeah,
you want more. But there was a way to do it. And I said in the beginning, after that first night that I watched the Snydercut, a couple days early, I said, we need to show Warner Brothers that there is a demand or a want for this universe to continue. However, there is a way to do it, and it's not to berate, and it's not to put down, or any of that stuff. It's to basically show them that there's money to be made and an audience that's willing to accept. And so far, we have not been willing to accept because.
Yeah, and you know what? Part of that blame does need to go to the previous regime, though, because that Ann Sarnoff article came out so quickly and was dismissive. That caused a lot of issues too, because I still think that the fandom should have been more thankful initially, but I can also understand the perspective to where it's also an issue of, well, they literally spit in our faces the moment it came out and said, you guys are toxic, you guys suck, you're never getting anything again, basically. Whatever we give you, you got to accept and like.
Basically, Sam just said it. Snyder fans have basically lived long enough to see themselves become the villain.
Like I said, I don't even think it's the majority per se, but they're just two distinct fandoms. Yeah, I like that phrase too. It's just, that's the thing. You compare the release fandom to the restore fandom, and they're two different groups, I feel like, because the release fandom are what I think I associate with more than the restore fandom. The restore fandom has been taken over, I feel like, by a lot of kids on Twitter. Overzealous. Yep. I think they're very hungry for the attention and the acknowledgement. I think it's been taken over by some YouTube grifters and some con men too out there.
They've already been mentioned.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean, though. It's just I feel like there's just issues at large that it's a different landscape than it was back in 2017 to 2018, 2019. Those 3 years, it's a different fandom compared to what we got in 2020 and beyond.
Right. And so I just want to continue up. So basically, so the two categories were, and this is what kind of throws me off, because it was best. I mean, I'm sorry, fan favorite. So basically, fan best picture, and the second was best cheer moment. Now, so the Justice League won best cheer moment, I believe.
Yeah, best cheer moment in movie history.
Yeah. However, that is so not true. To a degree, I would say the Endgame moment is way more cheer-worthy than.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things nominated. Yeah. I think, what was it? Neo entering bullet time for the first time. There was the Spider-Man swinging together.
Well, that hadn't come out yet.
No, it was nominated though.
It was?
It was, yeah. They nominated Spider-Man: No Way Home for best
I
cheer
didn't
moment.
even vote in that thing.
I didn't vote either, which
I didn't
people,
know about it.
yeah, I didn't vote either because, well, here's the thing. People were like, "Oh, you didn't even vote." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't vote because I put my words, or I guess
Well,
my
my mouth
tweets where my
is, yeah.
mouth was, because I thought that this idea was stupid because it was going to be manipulated by hardcore fans, which is fine. It's what it's for.
Just like
But
Rotten Tomatoes scores get manipulated.
right, or the audience scores, absolutely. Well, not as much anymore because now you have to verify that you bought a ticket, but back then, absolutely.
You do?
Um, yeah,
Is that new?
nowadays, yes, that's new. So ever since Captain Marvel came out, they said in order to leave a review, you need to buy a ticket through Fandango. Yeah.
Oh.
There's a verified audience rating. There's a non-verified audience rating. They only promote the verified one.
I did not know that. See, that's what's good about you, man. I got you.
You're right. Yeah, no, I mean,
I
this
did
is
not know that. I don't take Rotten Tomatoes seriously
well,
anyway.
yeah, I mean, it's really just something you look at and glance at. It's not the holy gospel that some people make it out to be. I mean, that's the thing too. But
I use it as a visual like cue, for like
yeah, I mean,
reviews and stuff.
it's a good way to like look at it aggregate to see kind of a general idea of what people think of a movie. But with the Oscar thing, I thought it was a dumb idea because to me it felt like a desperate attention grab for ratings, not because the Oscars actually cared about these movies.
So do you think it's kind of strange that the polling companies didn't respond to questioning about it, or do you think they're gathering their thoughts?
I think honestly they don't care because here's the thing people got to realize too. When this is something that I've noticed too, if you go back and watch that Oscar broadcast, the audience did not react whatsoever to when they presented those two awards.
Obviously.
In fact, the way that they presented them in general, it's like they were embarrassed by it. In my opinion, it's like they just threw it out there. It's like, just get it out the way. Just show it on the telecast, get it out the way before we announce the next big award. Like, they didn't care about this.
So at the end of my article here, I put, does any of this even matter? Probably not. But however, so this is my point. It just does go to show you how far a certain fan base will go to be taken seriously. Their goal is for Zack Snyder to return and continue the story he began with Man of Steel. All while he seemingly moved on to bigger and better things with the streaming service Netflix, working on projects like Rebel Moon and the sequel to Army of the Dead. The Diehards fought back after these reports debuted, which I did see a lot of. So there, my point being, I saw a lot of the real stands like putting pictures of robots and saying, "Oh, I forgot. Now I'm one of these." And it was really
and there's some funny memes. People are making
super
funny memes. And that's
I was dying laughing.
There was and this is the other thing too that kind of was just surprising to me. I saw some takes being thrown by Snyder fans saying that being called a bot was like dehumanizing and they felt insulted.
Give me a break.
And I'm like, I don't mean to be insulting, but like, go touch some grass, man. Go outside. Like, it's not that big a deal.
Those are the crayon eaters. You know that.
Well, it's funny too, and the other thing is, it's very similar, in fact, and someone brought this up last night on a Jarbo stream when I was on there. Someone brought up, because I
streamed last night.
Yeah, because I rebutted this because I feel it's a bad comparison. People were saying that if this was Star Wars, the media would never do this, and my response was,
yes,
you weren't there. You weren't there in 2017. They were calling people who didn't like The Last Jedi. They said it was Russian bots. Yeah, because that was primed during a lot of political contention too. So absolutely, this is nothing new. I mean, did Star Wars fans flip out that they were called bots to the same degree? Nope. Not really. I think people more had fun with it than anything else. I mean, they weren't calling it dehumanizing, at least the majority of the time.
Do you know who one of them are? So I can look it up. If anyone says that they felt dehumanized because of this article, they really need to get off Twitter because that's just a joke.
I mean,
that tweet.
By the way, that tweet that said that they felt dehumanized, it got retweeted like 200 times. People were like, "I feel the same way," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm just like,
my freaking god. So this is the society we live in. Honestly, if I see that someone has like the associate producer in their bio, I just check out. I'm like, no, I'm good.
And that's it's sad, but I mean, I understand. I can't blame you.
I'm just like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I need to move on. I can't take them seriously at that point because, like you said, that they've now.
Well, the other thing I think is really funny, by the way, and
it was okay right when the movie was coming out because it was like a label, right?
Well,
like,
yeah, because Zack called everyone the associate producers. Yeah.
But continue. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying, I don't know if you've seen this take, but I've seen this float around Twitter a lot too. People are saying that the Academy needs to step in and release a statement and maybe pursue legal action against
Oh,
the rep.
Zod. Yeah, Zod was saying that.
Oh, not just Zod, other people too. There's other people like that I know.
Oh,
Sil was
really?
retweeting saying that they need to sue the rep.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is so Zod was saying. I literally wrote drastic. But he
The Academies doesn't care. I mean, that's the thing. Like, the Academy's not going to flip out because one person wrote an article about this. I mean, why would they pursue legal action? There's no grounds for it. The article title, in and of itself, just displayed a question, not a definitive statement. If you actually go and read the article, it just
yeah. So I must
asked
say
a
this.
question.
I think we have to say this. Technically, none of these reports I've confirmed. I don't know
Well, it's
about
not
you.
100% confirmed, but what Umberto did was he presented the hard data that he received from Tweet Binders, Two Reports, and Telescope, and he interviewed a professor from the University of Maryland who specializes in social media and bots activity.
Right,
And the professor's opinion was, to me, this does not look like genuine human activity.
It's yeah, because it's not. So I mean, that's why I can't confirm it, but I do believe it's true because
yeah. And just to clarify too, I am sure that people voted legitimately too. I am sure that they did. I'm not disputing that, but to act like bots weren't used in any capacity, I think is very naive.
So
at some point, a bot was used. There's just no way it wasn't.
Yeah, I agree. So
yeah, this is the tweet I was talking about. Yeah.
I'm so sick of being dehumanized like this. Yes, bots, it seems. A thread because hell fucking no, I ain't letting this go down without saying my piece. So
look how much engagement this got though. Almost 1,000
900 likes. So there's at least 224 roughly people that agree
with this, that they're sick of being dehumanized like this. They agree with this thread.
Oh Lord. Like seriously, we need to stop taking this shit so seriously. It's bad. It's so bad.
But again, it's tied to their identity, and that's the thing.
Look, yeah, you can see it in his name. Restore the Snyderverse era. Like, okay, we get it. You found Zack Snyder after Man of Steel. We get it. The rest of us who knew him this whole time, we don't need that shit in our bios because I know what films I like. However, I do not go outside and fucking fall on the ground if someone makes fun of it. Like I don't throw a hissy fit.
Dude, here's the thing too. Maybe this is just a thing with me. Dude, there's a ton of movies that I like that I get made fun of for liking. Do I care what people say? No. Like, here's my thing too, and this is the case of the whole Oscar vote thing, because again, it ties into what I said earlier about people feeling the need to be acknowledged and feel validated for liking what they like.
Exactly.
I don't care if a movie that I like gets an award or not. I don't care. Like, I like what I like without it. Yeah.
What, like, RJ, what do you care if I don't like what, let's say a movie?
Yeah, I can name one right now. Spider-Man 3. I actually like that movie. I've grown to like that movie. Most people don't, and that's okay.
Yeah, I don't, and that's okay. You shouldn't have to care what I think for us to have a healthy conversation to discuss maybe why I don't like it and why you like it. Maybe you can help me see something I didn't before. Mm-hmm. That's how this shit works.
And that's what I typically do when I talk about Spider-Man 3. I talk about aspects of that film that typically people don't typically recognize, right? I talk about the positives I see in it versus the negatives. Like, and I clarify, I still think it's the weakest of the 3 Raimi films, but I think there's more value in it than people give it credit for. And I've had great conversations about that. Exactly. But am I insulted when someone says that it's a piece of crap movie? No, because I get it.
Nor should you be.
Yeah, it's just like it's not tied to my personal identity.
Like, if I was you, I'd be like, who gives a fuck what you think? I did like it. Guess what? It was the end of the franchise, and neither of us, have to deal with it again. Well, now you do, but
yeah.
But this whole, like I said, it's super fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, look at what I did. I like to talk about movies. I like to engage. I love talking about this, like this genre with other people. It's just so fun. However, I go to work. I see people. I fucking go out. I don't sit on Twitter and dwell on what, this random person you've never met through a hole in the wall like thinks. And regardless of the state of your emotionality towards something, it's just not worth it. You're getting like you're probably shitting blood because you have so many
Yeah.
ulcers.
And this is really funny too. I just saw a tweet. You know that actor Rahul Kohli?
No.
Okay,
What is
so
that?
he's an actor who was on The Haunting of Hill House, I think. He was a Netflix
Oh,
actor, and he was campaign like he wanted to be Reed Richards.
okay.
Pull up this tweet real quick because this is exactly what I'm talking about. Where the Snyder fans really eat their own sometimes, and it's so strange to me because Mercury. I've talked on Mercury a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's a gem.
yeah. He was making fun of Rahul for not getting the role of Reed Richards because if you saw Doctor Strange 2, spoiler alert, a different actor played that character in that movie, right? And he's making fun of him for that. And here's the funny thing: you click on that last image. Guess what he's going to be in?
Wait 1 sec. Oh, he's gonna be in Zack Snyder's fucking.
He's going to be in Twilight of the Gods, and they're still making fun. Like all the Snyder fans are making fun of him. And it's like he's going to be. Zack likes him and cast him in something.
You fucked up.
So it's like, because remember,
for real quick, you know that in 3 years' time, Mercury's gonna be making fucking pictures, collages of that guy just because he was in a Snyder film. And then we
when
can
he does,
pull
I'm
the
gonna
tweets
laugh.
up. Yeah, we can pull them side by side just to show you.
Because look at that tweet. He says, and I'm laughing. And he's making fun of him for not getting the role, right? And that's what
Why
Rahul
is
said.
Mercury such a fucking dickhead? Like, why?
I don't know. He likes going against actors. He tried canceling.
I saw Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Wright.
Wright.
Like
yeah.
Jeffrey, I was surprised that Jeffrey actually even responded to him.
Well, it's an attack against his character. I
That's
understand
true.
why.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
It's very slanderous accusations that's thrown against him, and I think it's funny that Rahul replied too. It's just like, and here's the funny thing too. What's Mercury's username? The Snyderverse.
Yeah, which is terrible because now when you talk about him, you have to relate, and that's the fucking problem. Yeah, it's like you're talking to the Snyderverse, and it's super fucking annoying because he doesn't speak for the rest of us that are sane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a shame.
It is a shame because people like him put themselves on the pedal. Like, how the fuck did this kid get like 370 goddamn thousand followers? It doesn't make any sense to me.
How did Mercury get 31,000?
Yeah, it blows my mind.
How did Geralt get 31,000?
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Because now Mercury's at almost like 13,000 followers now. It's crazy.
It's like people love, and I get it, right? People love the chaos. They like watching car crashes or looking at car crashes.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, and he just tweeted because this is an hour ago, right? So he just tweeted to respond to Rahul. He said, "Because it's my fault you were chronically on Twitter for 4 years leaning into fan cast instead of getting your ass up and trying to book an audition." Like, how dare you talk to an actor like that saying, "Oh, it's your fault you didn't audition for the role and didn't get it."
While Mercury sits in his fucking mother's basement in his computer chair clearly without work because he has a lot of time on his hands or her hands or fucking the IRA's hands. I don't know which one it is yet. We'll figure it out sooner or later, guys. Don't worry.
It's just baffling to me. Like, how can one person want to fight all these actors just to be a dick? I don't get that.
Like, do good. Oh, God.
It's infuriating. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm getting a little. My passion is showing a little. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he did delete the tweet because he didn't want to put a spoiler out there. It says, "I realize that one of these photos is a potential spoiler, so sorry. If you missed the tweet, here's a summary. Some dude who sadly lives a miserable and unfulfilling life outside of his Stan account is happy that I wasn't cast in something I wasn't even up for." Yep, thrilling.
Yeah,
Rahul was on iZombie on the CW. That was a DC show, and he's also in that Haunting show. I'm not sure which one. It was one of the Hauntings.
It was probably the second one because maybe it was the first one because he does look familiar. But Haunting of Hill House is so good. I didn't watch the second one, whatever that was. It's on. But
it's funny because he's going to be in a Zack Snyder project. So is Mercury still going to throw shit at him, or is he going to fall in love with them?
Exactly. That was so spot on. I'm so glad you brought that up because Mercury and Gerald block me. I can't see what they do. So, no. One of them, no, Gerald blocks me. I thought both of them did, but I was just able to pull up his tweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I should be good. I know one of them has me blocked. So the one that I always want to make
Yeah.
show the
But
tweets.
that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, though, where it's like
You're gonna eat your words. Yep.
that's the kind of stuff that goes on in this fandom that people want to willfully ignore because they want to act like it's all sunshine and rainbows. And
Yeah.
the other thing is too, it's just like I feel that we have a responsibility as people with a platform to say something like this because people
Yeah.
co-sign it. People actually act like that's okay, and it's not.
It's not. It's absolutely not okay. It's very unhealthy behavior. It's super toxic. That's what it is. And you don't want to be called toxic. That's like you guys have, or
If you
we've
don't
been
want to be
fighting.
toxic, then stop having people
It's
like that represent your fandom and letting them stay like that.
right.
Like people like need to publicly disown this guy and say he does not represent what
If
we
his
stand for.
yeah, if his followers drop by whatever, 70%, that would be a wake up call to the guy. You know what I mean? Everyone just disowned. Or didn't one of them get like suspended off Twitter the other day?
Geralt got suspended for a little bit, then he got his account right back.
Oh God, Twitter. Because Elon doesn't want to fucking ban anyone anymore.
No, he doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something happened.
it's okay, I suppose. I'm not getting into that, but anyway, I mean, final thoughts. What do you think? Is there truth to these claims? Does it even fucking matter? And why?
I think it matters in a sense, not completely. I think it matters because I feel like this is the end game of what's a lot of the issues have been going on for a while that have finally blown up into being something that's now hit the mainstream press. I mean, even Jeff Keighley, who runs the Game Awards, talked about that article from the Wrap saying this is why I don't do fan voting as 100% the only way for something to win at the Game Awards. He does a mixture of both fan voting and actual like people at the board picking stuff, voting on nominees.
Right.
But the thing is that I think that this ultimately became sort of the end game to a lot of issues going on because it's boiled up to this point where something like this could happen.
Right.
And I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things, but I think it's kind of like when you get like it's like this like the last symptom to like you basically getting so sick you can't recover.
Yeah.
To kind of put it.
Yeah, I agree so wholeheartedly. And I think most of these people just need to take a break. Like that whole community, our whole community, maybe just needs
And the
to take
thing
a
is,
break.
like this whole thing should have just been something for fun,
Yeah,
not something that was taken as seriously
I
as it was
remember.
by certain people.
Yeah, I remember when there was so like when it was so passionate and joyful and it was uplifting to have that kind of community and you felt it for the past 2 years. It's been like everyone's got their hands together and we're all saying kumbaya. But slowly but surely, then the cut came out, and people who built their channels on it, built their podcasts on it, they started letting go of it. And once the domino started to fall, it feels really fractured and empty as of late. So, obviously more on this as it develops, I suppose. But I honestly, I just
It's
want to
definitely
put a
going to be
pin
something
in
to keep
it.
an eye on for sure.
Yeah, and for the most, honestly, I'm worried about the Flash. That's like really what I'm worried about, right?
Yeah.
That's the part I'm like, because I can see that in front of me, and I'm like, come on, I really. We've been waiting so long for this film, and I get it, right? He's having issue. They're having issues, and I just want to see the best happen. I just want the best for everybody, and I really, I just want to be back in the theater watching the things that we love, then talking about the things that we love. That's what I like. So, RJ, where can they find you? I'm gonna. If you want, you can jump right into the Twitter space with us. I know you probably got things to do, but and for anyone, I'm going to jump on host GWW Twitter space right after this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, go make sure to check that out for sure. For me, you can find me over at Marvel Mania. That is my Twitter at right there. I'm also on YouTube at Marvel Mania, Twitch RJ from Marvel Mania, Instagram at Marvel Mania 99. And yeah, thank you for having me on, Ty. This is a great conversation.
Yeah, I like these one-on-one conversations, because we get to say everything that we need to say, and it's quick. And Shree, don't be sorry. You don't gotta be sorry. Thank you everyone for showing up. Very quick little live stream, just because I just wanted to vent some thoughts, and I just like talking about it, and RJ was super grateful to do it. So we will see you guys next time. Make sure to smash that like button, share the show, subscribe, and support us so we can keep doing it, and we can keep this keep this oh, Jesus Christ, keep this train going. Don't make me slap you like Will Smith. All right, we'll see you guys.
Okay.
I had this one loaded for
Yeah.
us talking, and then I forgot to use it. So I had to,
next year's Oscars will probably not be as controversial as this year's.
Honestly probably the most talked about Oscars in a while.
Oh, absolutely. Just up for all the wrong reasons.
Literally.
You can't make this shit up.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.